So welcome to An Actor's Perspective by CastableNYC. Tonight we're going to be talking about Rachel Lynett's Well-Intentioned White People. It made its debut as a professional reading as part of the Orlando Shakespeare Theater Festival in 2017. And actually it was recommended to us by one of our members, Tyler Tanner, who performed in it. So, of course, to get you guys started, I have to ask, what are your initial thoughts after reading the play?
I love this play. Obviously because I suggested it. It's such a great conversation starter for a discussion with white people and where they sometimes go wrong. And not even with white people, with all people, but this is truly geared towards white people who feel like they are helping a movement, but are deaf to the movement, I guess is the best way to say it. They know that they support it, but they don't know the proper steps of how to support it. That's why, I mean, when I first read this play, I fell in love with it. I just really did. I fell in love with it. And I also kept telling myself, this is really just a play for white people, period. This is a play that I would anticipate and would hope is a mostly white crowd to walk away and say, I learned something. I learned something, which is so important in theater today. That's how I'll start. I won't talk about the changes because there are several changes from when I first read this, which is great. But that's how I first feel. I love this play.
Yeah, I think it's a great impact on it. Anybody else?
I would have to say, the thing that I like the most about it is that you get to see a perspective from everyone's point of view. Like you can't just, when it comes to racial things, obviously, Black people get the light, you get the mic. But, I never even thought about like how a white person might feel about a situation happening to us. So like you kind of get an insight of like, they also feel hurt. They feel helpless. They feel like they don't know what to do. They want to get in there, but nobody really knows what to do. That's the whole point. Like no one knows what to do. You just know there's a problem and everybody has their own feeling about it. It's really no solution. That's really what we with the end of this shows you. Like even when you call the cops, even when you talk about it, I know, and everybody else know. Tomorrow, the next week, or a month from now, you're gonna have an exact event happening somewhere else to someone else, and then what? Mm-hmm. So it was good to look at different people's view about a singular event and how they're trying to work through it.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Amanda, I saw your hand pop up.
I was gonna say I really enjoyed reading this play. Obviously, as a white person, I know I have faults and I want to do better. And even reading this, like the first 2 pages where Viv's like, it happened to us, I was like, oh no, like, no. Like I was reading it on the train the other day, and I rereading it, and I was just like, no, this girl, she means, and it's exactly the title. She's so well intentioned and she means to help, but she just like still loses sight of the bigger picture and tries to make it about her. And in a way, like, does she make, as Parker says, like everything happens to Viv. It's always about Viv, And so I'm sure that it's every situation anyway. Like someone could give her a coffee in the morning and she'd be like, well, they forgot my skim milk because they're mad at me. And like turn it around, like any little thing you could see this person like reading into and being overly sensitive to, or not knowing better. And certainly this is a time where that personality trait carries on very inappropriately. And yeah, so it's a very powerful play, and definitely makes you more introspective and try to want to do better. I will say that I love the ending speeches, and I love that the last line of the plays, the last two lines is "How can I help?" and it's "Thank you for asking."
Right.
And with that though, like, it's not anyone's purpose or responsibility to educate us. We have to do the work and educate ourselves, and still be open and just like, how can we help? Um, and ask without making someone talk about something they don't want to talk about, bringing it up when they don't bring it up. You know what I mean? Like letting it be their speaking board. So with that, I will stop talking.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. It's something that you don't think about as you read through the play until you get that final "How can I help?" that no one actually asks Cass that until that moment. Like Viv centers herself in the narrative. Dean West tries to make it about the school. Mara makes it about herself and her education. It's like not once does someone kind of go to Cass and say, "Hey, are you okay? Are you as a person okay?" Instead of kind of using her as the the stand-in for uh all black people, or the people that we're as the young liberal group trying to fight with or fight for. It's like, no, we need to check in with her on a personal level. And I think that's something that's easily forgotten in this play, because you kind of get caught up in being so angry at everybody or so upset with all the characters that you realize, oh, nobody actually asked Cass how she's feeling.
That's true. I didn't even think about it, and I was reading the the doggone lyrics. I mean, the dialogue. I didn't even realize no one asked her that simple question to the very end. Like it's crazy. Crazy.
Amanda, go ahead.
I would say a few times people did ask, "Are you okay? What are you doing? I'll call the cops if that helps." Like not realizing that that's not asking what is wrong, or like, how can I help? Like in the beginning opening scenes, like Viv is pushing and like, well, you must be feeling something, but that's not how to help. Like she was like, how are you? But and which was well intentioned as the play is titled, but it's not what Cass needed in that
Right.
moment. And that's a big thing. Dean West comes in and is like, how are you? Anyway, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Like immediately doesn't listen to the response and just starts shooting off ideas.
Mm-hmm. Audrey?
Yeah, it's an interesting the battle of boundaries is, I think, fought pretty hard in this play. It's like everyone just keeps like throwing their shit onto the thing, and it's like, nobody asked for this, what are you trying to do? And shit, like making the issue all of theirs. And as for asking how, or like, if the main character is okay and stuff, I think the beauty of the end is that he's like, I'm I'm here to help you pack. Like that is the most grounding, realistic, tangible thing that anyone can do. And it's like, yes, that is what you can help me with right now.
Right.
It's just such a beautiful, like, two people in a space together, there for each other. And it's like, I don't know, I just think that that's a really nice way to kind of pull it in at the end, to be like, I am here for you. Let me know what that means.
If you want to talk about anything, I'm here. If you don't, I'm here. Let's do a task.
Yeah, like the most genuine moment of being there for someone, I think, in the whole play.
Something funny is, sorry, I just want a quick note.
Yeah.
When I read this play, when I first did this draft in 2017, that was not the end.
Oh.
I can talk about the changes that I've noticed and why I think these changes are for the better, but we can talk about that later.
Very curious.
Andre, go ahead.
I when I was I like this play because it's just about perspective. There's so many perspectives with one issue, and I think as a Black person and reading this, I almost was like, yeah, I don't even know what I would ask for. I don't even know how comfortable I would be. And what I like about this play. It gives you so many things to think about. I don't necessarily think that this is just a play for that white people need to watch. I think this is a play that we all could sit and watch and look at the different perspectives and different things that we don't think about. And it's such a conversation starter, but you start that conversation with yourself. Like, am I really numb to some of the things? I realized the thing that stood out for me was the fact that, yeah, I'm really comfortable with not calling the cops when I have a problem, or really comfortable with not trying or really comfortable with knowing that people have white guilt, and you are you try to comfort, to try to be comfortable and make other people comfortable in spaces. And I felt like this play just gave you so much to talk about, beyond just trying to blame one person. Everyone in this play is well intentioned. Even you as a reader is well intentioned, and you hope things will work out. But it makes you think about how many things you have really been numb to and complacent with, and things that you don't ask. So that's what I love. I love the different perspectives.
Yeah, I like all that. So the next one I have for you guys. So Rachel Lynett starts the play with a quote from MLK. It's in the before, right at the beginning of the play. There's a quote from MLK, which for you guys. I must confess that over the last few years, I've been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I've almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in the stride toward freedom is not the white citizens' counselor or the Ku Klux Klanner, but the white moderate who is more devoted to order than to justice. So, since we know she has started the play with that, how does that impact your reading of the play, or how does that impact what you think you're about to watch or read?
I would think that it's meant to mean that if, when sitting to read this play or watch a performance, that if you find yourself either thinking like, oh, I've said that, or, oh, I've seen or know people that have said that or behave that way, that by the end of the play, you will be introspective and do the work and say something to people, that when you see something going on within like fellow white people, to correct. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a really big discussion that was happening over the summer too, about not just like reaching out to Black people and asking them to teach us, but to educate each other as white people to do better. And to anyone that's in the middle is the problem, because they're just complacent in letting it happen and continue. And we just, as people, have to acknowledge that, everything happened. It did not happen. But the only way to move forward is to like acknowledge it and then try to do better. You can't just like keep not acknowledging it or changing the behavior to do better as humans. So I think that, yeah, the quote is to set up thinking like, if you yourself are a moderate white person, or you know someone that is a moderate white person, by the end of this play, I hope you choose not to be a moderate white person and do better. Like,
Tyler, and then Manny.
Yeah. I think for me, something that sticks out most in this quote that resonates with this play is the moderate white who are more devoted to order than to justice. We have people in this play who just kind of want everything to be okay. They want everything to just be fine, all hugs and love. They want order restored. They don't want, in a sense, they don't want justice. Because you have Viv, who she fears for her own life, so she wants everything. We need to just go to the police, figure this out. They will put order in, and they will just do it. They will put it in. I will be at ease. So order has been set. You have the Dean West, who wants to put on Equality Day because that is a thing of love. That's a thing of peace. That will restore order to what we have here. And then you have, bless her, Mara, who feels that she has in herself been oppressed in her own life, and through her oppression wants to create order and like equality by raising herself to the oppression of Black people, in a weird way of saying that, I guess, in a sense. All of them don't want justice. They don't want to go out there and find who has been harassing Cass. They just want it to end. And that's the problem. That is the problem that we have with the white moderates today, and even like the very white liberals. They all just want hugs and love, and it's okay. We are getting through this together, and we are here together. They want everything to be calm again. But when you continue to be calm, more problems happen. More Black people get shot. More people are oppressed. More people are biased. And when you don't stand up and demand justice, we won't get true order. We are just putting a veil over everything. And I think that's what's important about this, specifically the end of this speech that references here in the play.
Yeah, I think these are really, really great points. Manny, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what made me think about the speech that the main character was giving at the end, about how they just waited for it to happen in order to do something. And she's like, why do something when it already happened? Like, we need to work for this not to happen at all. Like, we need to work for it not to be a thing. Like they say, call your senator, call this, call that, do things for the situation not to be a thing, not to happen. But you just like bounce around and then like, oh, it happened, now we need to fix it, and everything is gonna be fine, and I'm so sorry, I'm gonna help you. But no, we need to make it better for it not to be a thing.
Yeah, no, I think those are all really great points. And one of the things I think the playwright hits on really well with this is how everybody looks to Cass to be the solution. You know, again, we kind of reach back to that idea of like, they're not asking her if she needs help or if she's okay. They're saying like, you went through this thing, but you need to lead Equality Day. You know, you went through this thing and now you need to give a speech, and also accept Amara into your class because we don't want to cause trouble. It's all, as Tyler said, kind of reaching back into that idea of getting into order rather than getting into justice. No one said, listen, we're going to find out who did this to you and they're going to pay a price. I mean, hell, the guy who attacked Mara for wearing a hijab got more of a suspension than the person who is like harassing Cass.
Well, and it's also interesting to Tyler's point, and you re-highlighting like about calling the police. Like, it's an interesting way to think too, because while it's well intentioned, like, hey, let's call the police, they'll find the person that did this to you. It's also passing the responsibility on doing the work to someone else instead of like trying to do the work. And the same thing, like repeatedly passing it off to Cass to create Equality Day. It's like, this is important for the school, but someone else will do the work for us to make it important for the school.
Right.
All right. So next question for you guys. I do want to talk about the use of the N word by the white characters in this. I know it's hard to frame it as a question. I just kind of want to get y'all's thoughts on why do you think the playwright may have used it like that in the script? What do you think your reaction to it is? What do you think an audience's reaction to hearing that come from specifically two white characters towards Cass in the play and using it so just it seems easily. It seems like it just comes very easily for them to say that to her.
Right. I mean, for me, it's the first thing is it's a shock. It's shocking. One, because that's the no word. That's like the word nobody's supposed to say. So obviously you have that first shock response. But then, at the end of the day, like with Mara, when she was saying it, it was like, you so disrespectful. I mean, she knew what took place. That's why she was coming to do this profile, and it's like, you're not even sensitive. You're supposedly this woke person that's trying to, be a part of cause or be a part of activism, and you're trying to learn so much, but you don't even have the sense to know that you're not supposed to say that word when you're speaking to someone who just was, like basically like getting threats and everything. Like, it's almost like it didn't even really happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you understand what happened? And then for you to use that word is like, oh, okay, it's okay if I do it. It's not okay for the stranger, but me doing it because I go to this school and I'm this person and I try to do this, I can do it. No, it's not okay for anybody. She just lost all respect. And then I feel like it just really brought home the fact that there is no justice. Like everything, it just is levels. The first level is the person key in your car. Then you didn't even know about the notes at first. And then this girl comes to your class and say it right to your face. And then they wonder why Cass is numb. She's numb to this. Because if she was to react to every little thing, how would she live her life? You can't live your life reacting to everything that happens to you. And it's messed up if you really think about it. Because you want to defend yourself, you want to scream, you want to yell, but it's like, I got a long life to go. How much more, is going to come in the future when people are really not changing? The society is not changing. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's actually crazy. It was crazy, but it was necessary because it's really to balance out the fact that, oh, this is not going to be sweet. Like you might think when you first hear the story, like, oh, okay, this happened. There's going to be this protest, going to be this march. Everything's going to get better. Everybody's going to get on the same page. And then you realize everybody's on their own level, doing their own thing, thinking something totally different. Don't even realize what the real problem is. The real problem is a lot of people are racist and they don't even know. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Definitely. Amanda, go ahead.
And I would think that the use of the word is shocking to an audience, like you just said. And in a way, if the other things that just fly out of the white characters' mouths aren't as shocking to you, like, oh, it happened to us. Like, no, it didn't. It did not happen to both of you. We will never fully understand what that experience is like. Obviously, you never possibly could. But so so it's like the one word that we know is the no word, and is like, it like highlights, like, if this isn't how you reacted to those other sentences, you should be like, like all of it is the same.
Yeah.
It's not, but it is, like, it's that same, like, they think it's fine to just go ahead and say that. They think it's fine to go ahead. to say the other sentences that casually, which I think a lot of people, when saying certain things, they don't think that, or they don't think it's a problem, or they think that they're being well-intentioned.
Right.
And
I mean, during the profiling, she was asking about her parents. She was asking what where they from, her background. Is she really African? What are you talking about, girl? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you saying a lot of crazy stuff right now. And then she made a complaint. That was it was like, what? You called me the N-word? You asking me about my parents? And if I'm really African American, it's like, what?
Yeah,
That's
like
crazy.
she was trying to disqualify the experience of that word just because your parents were from the Caribbean and not because of your skin color. And I was like, what? That
Right.
people who see you, they're not thinking, oh, her parents maybe from the Caribbean. She's not black. No, they're gonna see you as black because that's how you look.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely. I think you guys all have some great points. I really liked what Amanda touched on about, like, it's a very big exclamation point to the audience that, like, if you didn't catch the other undertones in how Dean West and Mara are talking, this use of this word is a big exclamation point to really, like, look at the way that they're saying the rest of their things.
Right.
And I think within the stage directions too, there's a lot of like Cass's reaction is like, what is happening right now? And so I think that's a big part of the exclamation too, is like, while these white characters are well-intentioned, they're saying something, but the person they're saying it to already has that shock value the entire time on the quote-unquote normal questions that are being asked
Right.
throughout the rest of the play.
Tyler, go ahead, and then Andre will get to you as well.
Yeah, I think what is most interesting about when they choose to use the N-word is how they use it. Both of them, both Dean West and Mara, use it specifically when they talk about the car. They're like, hey, when something on your car and the word bleep was on it or was here, they specifically say the word then this, not the N word. And I think for some white people, because let me be real with you, I have met the white person who chooses to use the N word, the actual word. But specifically when they're referencing the word, because they're like, oh, this is what's actually written, I can say it. It's almost like, and I don't speak for all white people, let's be real. It's like some white people, it's like their back door to use it.
Right.
Which, guess what? That's not okay. It's not okay. And what you also realize is Viv, she does not use it. She specifically in the first scene uses the N word. And I mean, this is some wild backstory that I don't know about. Maybe one time she tried to use it and Cass was like, oh, no, we're shutting this down. We are shutting this down right here, right now. But with Cass in these moments, they're difficult situations. One is your boss and one is the student who has already been quote unquote oppressed and has been highlighted about. So how do you, how do you go about doing that? But again, everything that everybody hit on is similar to what I would point out. But I think it's just I think it also reminds people that, like, oh, whether you're black or not, people still use this. They find their creative moments to use it, and theyll try and use it.
Yeah.
And it's still not okay, period.